when I'm looking at apprentices or pre-apprentices, you guys maybe grew up doing some plumbing with their dad, building fences, whatever. So they got all these skills, but nobody grew up doing Powerline with their dad, or not many people, right? It's super rare for that. So I don't expect anybody to show up that knows how to do the work in the trade or anything. But if you show up hungry and you show up with a good attitude, then that's what's going to take you far. So sometimes that's the only thing you need to do to separate yourself from those other 30 guys in your class is just be hungrier than them and have a better attitude, and that might even take you where you need to go, right?
What are you guys looking for in attitude? Like when you say attitude, what?
Just work ethic is huge, and that goes back to what you were saying is you can't teach a work ethic on anything. You can either show up hungry to work with a good work ethic or you don't. That's something we can't teach. That's something we can't yell at you about to get better. You either want it or you don't, kind of thing. So those are certain things, I mean, that can't be taught, right?
What's the biggest hang up when people find out what this trade is all about?
Travel.
Yeah, the travel for sure. There's a lot of people, and it's understandable. There's a lot of people that don't want to spend that kind of time away from home. Guys that are in the trade too, they get burned out on it as well, right? So then they start talking to the younger guys. Guys come to them and ask for advice and everything, and then they get a fair warning, like you're going to spend a lot of time in some pretty crappy hotels, and after a while it gets old, or getting on a plane couple times a month or once a month or whatever, it can get old. So yeah, I think that's the biggest deterrent that we find. Guys come through the program and they're staying on the ranch, and it's 6 days a week. They don't get to see their family and everything. And that's when some of the guys opt to take themselves out of the program, because they're like, this is what I'm signing up for the rest of my life, is being gone all the time. And it's like, yeah, it's a big part of it. There's a lot of time off as well in the trade. You can, if you're making that kind of money and you can manage your time and make up for it on the back end of the year or whatever, spend extended periods of time at home, but your regular work week is going to be lots of travel. Or if you're working close to home, a lot of the time there's trouble. There's all sorts of stuff where you get home, you eat dinner, and all of a sudden your phone rings and off you go because somebody crashed into a pole or squirrel got a little curious or whatever happens.
Hey man, it's 3.5 years, 4 years, however long your JATC program is. It's that long. Suck it up for that, because you're set for the rest of your life after that, man. You've got that ticket in your back pocket. If you want to slow down and you realize traveling is not for you 2.5 years into it, don't quit. Continue on through, thrive through that apprenticeship, because then after you top out, go work for a utility or go do whatever you want, and you can be home every night. You can do that, but you have to get through this apprenticeship first, man. That's the number one goal we always tell our students, right? Graduate the program here first, and then after that, get your journeyman ticket. Don't be chasing dollars yet. Everybody sees the dollars out west. Everybody wants to go to California, and everybody wants to go to the Northwest because they're the most or need up in the Northeast. And it's like, don't chase that, man. Chase your ticket. You need to get your ticket, and then you can pick wherever you want to go in this world. Yeah. It's so easy after that. And just get it. Become the best apprentice you can be in the process, and that will translate into the best lineman you can be.
You're going to make good money no matter where you go doing this. I've never heard of linemen that are starving unless it's because they've made some bad decisions on their own. I would recommend guys chase the experience. The line work is so multifaceted. There's so much you can do. And there's so much you can see in the trade. Yeah. Chase after those experiences. Go places you've never been before. I've been fortunate enough that through my experiences, I've got to go to places in northern Canada and out in the mountains and stuff that people would spend a fortune to get to go see. I get paid to go there. I've seen like wolves and moose out in the up north. I've seen the northern lights, all that kind of stuff. That's the kind of stuff you want to chase. Like, made a bunch of money all over, but that's not really what you remember. What you remember is the different things you've done and the different places you've been, the people you've met. You're going to make the money either way. It's going to be there. Just like you guys just said, just be smart with it when you have it. And
just say yes.
Yeah, exactly.
Say yes, man. If they're dragging this job's over and they're pushing the job 3 states over and they say, yeah, we got work for you, say yes, man. It sucks. Yeah, you got to move. You got to be there in 2 days and pack up your hotel, but there's money there and there's work there. Go. Keep chasing that card, man.
I was that young guy that was like, shut up, old man. Like, what do you mean? I'm going to climb how I climb. Like, fuck, I'll come down fast if I want to come down fast.
Yeah.
My knees. Like, cares about my knees.
Yeah.
And yeah, it catches up with you.
Jumping off the trucks was like the biggest ones. Like, I'd always do it. And I had this operator who would always just chew my ass up and down for jumping off the trucks. And I was 20 years old. I was 19. Like, I'll jump off a building, man. I could bounce, man. Never thought about it. And it was probably a year after I topped out, still feeling bulletproof, you know. and I'm chainsawing a pole. Just pole we wrecked out, laying on the ground. I'm just bucking it up into pieces, throw it in the back of the truck. Got my harness on, just got out of the bucket, and I'm just bucking it up. And the crane operator's right there, and he's kind of got it picked. I just bent over, cut a couple of rounds, and then I bent over on the third one, and everything locked up, and I just fell straight on my back. And I'm like, get me to the truck, man. Like,
Seriously, though.
drag me in the truck and lay me down the back. I don't know what happened, but it caught me, right?
Yeah.
And it just, and that operator, it's like, I told you so. It's like, yeah, it took a few years, but you were right. Just listen to them old timers. It humbles you very quickly. Line work has a way of doing that.
Yeah.
Just when you think you're the best guy there is in the yard, you blow up a transformer 3 times and can't figure out what's going on. Right? And
Line gods have a cruel sense of humor.
Oh, they do, right? And you just like, is it complacency? Was it this? Was it that? Well, it could be a lot of factors. Ego might play into it, and not being able to listen to everybody on your crew because you think you're the best guy there.
Yep.
And then one guy comes up and it humbles you very fast. So you just got to be humble, open-minded to those things, and you won't stick your foot in your mouth nearly as much. It's the foreman out there who picks up a shovel first, right? It's the guy who runs over there and says, well, a hole needs to be dug. I don't care if I'm the top paid guy on the crew. Work needs to be done. I have to go do it. Groundmen see that happening. Other linemen see that. Everybody jumps in, right? He's not above that job. You're never above that job. And it kind of, and what another way into it is, what makes a good journeyman, right? Well, a good journeyman knows every aspect of the job when he steps out of the truck. He's done every aspect of that job, from groundman to flagger to apprentice to operator. He can do it all. And he's not scared to get in there and do that if it needs to be done. Multiple times where it's been 2 journeymen up in a bucket, operator's supposed to be operating a crane or something like that, and he's gone or doing whatever or this and that, and it's like, jump in the crane, man. You got your cert, get up there and do it. That pole needs to be backfilled. Well, the groundmen are going to move a truck this way, and it's like, grab a shovel. You're not above anything here, right? You got to be able to lead by example with that. And those, to me, are the great journeymen too, who can do every aspect of the job without question. Step in there, jump in there. You don't have to pry. You don't have to force them to do it. They're willing to do it because they see a job needs to be done. And those are the great leaders. A guy I respected to this day, I still call him Dad, a foreman I work for. Me and him, we were doing part of a reconductor, and there was some quick and easy move we could do. Just throw a blanket over that transformer and real quick, just throw your gloves on and do it. And that's kind of was my attitude. Throw your gloves on real quick and do it. Well, we're a stick state, right? We're not really supposed to do that. And he's like, yeah, we got an apprentice on the crew. It's like, yeah, so me and you go up in the bucket, cover it up, be done with it. Nope, we have to do it right because he's watching us. And that, for some reason, that just resonated and sat with me the whole time, no matter what. He was one of the most efficient linemen I've ever seen, one of the best foremen I've ever worked for. He would get work done faster than anybody, safer than anybody. But if he had an apprentice on that crew, everything was so by the book, to the standard, to the spec. It was just incredible. You were forced to do that. And you were forced to do all these hard, what you thought were maybe extra moves, but it was the right way to do it. Even though you know that shortcut is there and it exists and you're a journeyman and I know I can get away with it, it's exactly what you said. That apprentice is just watching you like a hawk and doesn't know the whole backstory of it, of why you can get away with touching this and not touching that because you're whatever in a bucket. He doesn't know that. He just knows that you just threw that blanket on there with no gloves on and just, you're good. He's going to do that. He doesn't know the context. So you have to do it so by the book. And that kind of has stuck with me so much. Anytime I have an apprentice, I think, well, if it's me, I can do this, this, and that, and kind of slide a corner there. And then just kind of thinking like, that apprentice is going to be right there in that bucket with me, or right there standing at the neutral watching every single move I do. And if I cut that corner, he's going to cut that corner, and he's not even going to know he's cutting that corner. You have to do it right, or else you're training wrong. And that just kind of sat with me.